Hi everyone, Jeremy here from Visual Studio. Today a quick video to share with you a free sample for more realistic digital screen pack. In this video I'll share with you how to install that sample and get the most out of it. With this template you'll be able to create a Google search sequence. So if you're ready, let's jump right into it. Alright, so you can download that sample with the link in the description below. Then you'll get the zip file, just double click on it to unzip it. It will give you a folder. In that folder, you have a couple of things. You get the license, the installation instruction, the GFX file to install, and the font. Please make sure to install all the font, otherwise the sample will not work because DaVinci will not know what font to use. So just select all the font and then you can just double click on them to start the installation process. Once that's done, you can go over to the GFX file and double click on that to prompt open right here, that pop-up, and then select install. Right now I already have it installed, so it's offering me to overwrite it. So I'm just gonna click overwrite. Now we can go over to DaVinci Resolve. Then once in DaVinci Resolve, you can go over to Effect, Video Studio, and then here you can scroll all the way down until you're finding sample, and you will find every sample that you may or may not have already installed from us, as well as the sample from the realistic digital screen pack. You can then just take it and drag it right here in your timeline. This specific sample will help you to create a Google search sequence. But the goal of the overall pack that we've designed was to basically recreate the look of a screen that will be shot with a camera. So that's why here we have some LED effect, and there is a few interesting features that I'll share with you in a second. First off, you can extend or reduce that title to any length that you want. And then you can also adjust the timing of the animation here with the animation length. So for example, here, if I start, as you can see, the writing is going to take 3 seconds to happen. If I were to reduce that to 1 second, the writing is going to happen a lot faster, as well as the mouse coming into frame. Now we don't have multiple animation in for this one because there is only one action that we wanted to show, but you have multiple animation out. So when it's getting out of frame, you can choose to have, nothing happening, or you can choose here a different animation out option. So you can have, for example, here slide up. So that means that at the end of the sequence, that will just go out of screen from, the top. You can also adjust the animation out length if you want that to be longer or shorter. Now, if you absolutely need to have an animation in, what you can do is simply here, take that little handle and then drag it on the right side, and you will have a simple fade-in animation. We've added another important feature for that pack. It's the camera angles. So here you can choose between different camera angles. We have full screen, text follow, so that will basically follow the text. Then we have text follow max, which is very much zoom in on the text and it will follow the text that is being written. Then we have scroll, which is basically a full screen, but with in animation. Then we have 3D, which is, like a deviated angle with, again, the scroll animation. And finally, we have cursor focus, which is basically another angle to just show the button in center. Now, the cool things with those different angles is, as you can see, you can keyframe them. So you can basically keyframe that to create your own sequence with different angle in it. I will show you how to do that towards the end of the video. First, I will always recommend it to make sure that the look of the overall title is matching exactly what you want before getting into any sort of animation. Just one quick note with the camera angle. You can create the camera angle mostly with the full screen, text follow max, and the cursor focus. The scroll and the 3D get an animation on them, which will basically give them a different timing compared to the one that don't have animation. So here, as you can see, for example, for the full screen, we have only the text being animated. Whereas here for the scroll, well, we need first off to have the whole thing coming up and then the text to happen. So that basically gives them two different timing in terms of how the text is written. And therefore they will not really be having the right timing to be placed sequentially. So if you want to create a sequence like I'm just showing you, you need to use the full screen, text follow max, and the cursor focus. And the scroll and 3D are just more so if you want to use them on their own as like, a full animated title, but not to create sequence. Or if you want to create like, the last one with the cursor. You can do that right here by putting something on 3D and then switching it to cursor focus. But yeah, just be aware of that difference of timing because of the scroll, and the 3D have that scroll animation. With that being said, let's continue the explanation. So quickly, let's go over the different parameters that you have right here in the inspector. First, we have the overall size and position, which is pretty straightforward. You can either here reduce the size or increase it. You can move the position of the overall composition, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty standard, pretty straightforward. Now you can replace the search engine logo if you wish. So here you have a loader, you can just open that, click browse, and then here you can load in any logo you want directly. So if you're using another search engine, you can just load the logo of that other search engine and it will show up right here. You can adjust the size, you can adjust the position, so you can completely remove it if you wish to remove it as well. Now we have then the main text. So here you can go over to main text and you can switch it to whatever you want. So how to cook beef, and that will change your text. You can change also the font, but I will recommend to stay with Roboto. Then you can also adjust the color, size, tracking, line spacing, so on and so forth. Then next one, we have the cursor. If here you wish to add any other cursor for whatever reason, because you don't like this one, well, you can do that right here by doing exactly the same thing here and loading any images you want. Then here we have the background. You can change the color of that background. So if you want to have a custom color, or if you want to have something that is dark, for example, you can do that right here. Now let's move on to the two most important parameters for this tool. It's the LED effect and the camera angle. So let's start with the LED effect. Here, I don't know if you can see, I'm gonna zoom a lot in the composition. We have some LED pattern above our title. It's to give it a bit of a realistic look. You can tweak that in a very different way to give you some specific result. So we can make it more digital or more realistic, if that makes any sense. So first off, here we have the mosaic blur blend. By default right now it's at 0, but you can increase it. And basically what it does, it's like it's deforming everything that is on screen here to give it a look that it's kind of like pixelated. So just don't go fully overboard with it, because on some later it might not turn out too well. But I think sometimes having it at, let's say, 50% can be really good. Then you can adjust also the pixel frequency, and you can adjust the aliasing. And basically those are minor changes. You better off probably like zooming in to see how it's affecting the composition, but it can really, really help to sell a very realistic look if you are going for that. In combination with other stuff that I'm gonna share below here, with playing around with, again, lift, gamma, contrast, saturation. If you try to make a look that is, let's say, very damaged, you have something that looks very old school, like let's say you were almost shooting, you know, a computer from like the 2000s or something like that. So then we have the overall size, gain, and blend of the LED. So here you can increase the size. Obviously you don't want to go in that direction, because then it doesn't make any sense. We just see the transparency of all of those LED. That's not ideal. I will generally recommend to go more in the other direction and reduce them depending on, again, the look you're going for. Basically, the more you increase it, the lower quality will kind of look, because that's just gonna here create some line and bending in the logo of Google. And then if you reduce it completely, well, nothing is gonna happen, and it's just gonna be a smooth, flat surface. So if you want to have like a very modern, you know, flat surface, you can just do that by reducing it to 0, or you can just increase it slightly, depending again on the look you're going for. Then we have the gain of those LEDs. So here you can increase that gain or decrease it. For example, sometimes the more you decrease it, the more it's going to give you like, you know, underlit screen, which can look even more realistic in some cases. So you can play around with that, or you can increase it here. But then the more you increase it, the more it's just basically gonna be burned in the white, and you're gonna clip the white. So just you know, play around with it, but don't go too low, I think, with the gain. Otherwise you're just gonna, you know, lose the balance of the design. And then you have the overall blend. So that's just the overall strength of that you know, effect that you've put together. It's kind of like the opacity. And now you have the overall gain, lift, gamma, contrast, brightness, and saturation of the entire composition. So that's where you can dial in a specific look. If, for example, you want something that have more or less contrast, you can do that. If you want to go for something that is, let's say, very damaged and very, like, you know, realistic 2000-ish, you could, for example, here increase the saturation, increase or decrease the brightness. Then we can play around with the contrast, adding maybe a bit more contrast, reducing the size even more. So we're creating potentially even more aliasing right here. And so basically by, you know, destroying a little bit the image, we're creating something that is more in part with the quality of the camera from the 2000s, or like even, you know, now if you should think with a not high quality camera in a not well lit environment at night, that's how it could look like. So that could just like help you to create a very realistic look that has like a lo-fi vibe to it. I really don't know how to explain that in a technical way. It's mostly vibe, honestly. So just like tweak things depending on the look that you're going for. And then finally here we have the high and the low, which gonna, you know, enable you to clip that effect on the high end or on the low end. And then we have the screen glow. So you can increase the glow or you can decrease the glow depending on what you're looking for. All right, so right now, let's move between different camera angles to create an interesting sequence. So let's say first I want an animation in. What I could do is, for example, here I have a simple fade in. So here I will have a fade in, then the text starts to get written. And then I want, let's say, the angle to change after how to add subtitles. And I want it to just follow the continuity of the text. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go on camera angle, put a keyframe on full screen, move one frame forward, and then we're gonna switch to text follow. And now we're basically zooming in and we have a pan movement that is following the text. So here we're coming in, then it's gonna follow the text. And we could then, as DaVinci Resolve getting written, drop another keyframe on text follow, move one frame forward, and then switch to text follow max, which is gonna zoom again further onto the screen. So now we have full screen, text, and then the zoom onto the text itself even more. And then once that's done, we could switch from text follow to cursor focus to show the button. And so now we have our sequence with full screen, text following, and then the button. And that's how you can just create, you know, a sequence like that with the timing that you want. Here in the dropdown, you'll have, you know, the control over the placement, the scale of each of those functions, so you can really adjust those as you want. So here, for example, if you go over to 3D, then you can go to like the 3D section, and you can adjust the Z move, which is essentially the scale, and you can adjust the position with the pivot and the angle. So here you can just put the angle like this. Just be aware of the frame, that if you keep deforming it with a DVE, then you're gonna get like, you know, a cutoff frame. So you need to stay within bound of that background. Here we go. But you can still create like interesting like 3D rotation effect by using that, for example. And that's pretty much it. I hope this video was helpful. Again, if you enjoy those kind of assets, we've released a full pack with a bunch of different variation for like, you know, Google search, articles, ChatGPT, social media, so on and so forth, as well as a myriad of effects to help you create that with your own screenshots. If you're interested into that, there is the link in the description below, or you can find it at videoeditorstudio.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Speed up your workflow and create better videos using the pack available on our website, including titles, transition, and templates built only for DaVinci Resolve. Get started today by downloading our free starter pack that contains over 150 elements. Link in the description below or at videoeditorstudio.com.